My name is Jose Trujillo. I'm a fine art artist. I'm coming to you from a corner of my art studio to talk to artists again today. I've been doing some series of videos for artists and art professionals, painters, sculptors, photographers, even musicians. I think it fits everywhere. You know, especially if you're an artist, any type of artist, I know artist. Find out how it can help you, because you know it's things that have helped me. So I'm just sharing them here. They might help you. I don't know. So this one's about size limitations when it comes to creating the artwork. Many of us have the false idea that, you know, see, many artists, when we enter the market, whether it's brick and mortar or online or any e-commerce or whatever you're trying to do, your blog or whatever you do, we automatically limit ourselves. See, this is what we think. I don't know why. I have an idea why. But we say, I'm going to start out by doing these little paintings, you know. And these little paintings, I know because I've done that. And that kind of set me off in a rocky road for a good while. I'm going to start off by doing these little paintings. And these little paintings are going to sell. And then I'm going to... somehow we think that we do like little postcards. Little, you know, when an artist tries to do reproductions, automatically they go to like postcards. I'm going to do postcards. You know, and somehow like postcards don't sell, or you get very low return, you know, on the investment. I'm not saying they're bad, but postcards alone is what I'm talking about. Then all of a sudden artists go like, well, there's not really money in the reproductions. No, because you're selling, you know, $3 for $5 postcards, you know, 3 little postcards for $5 or something like that. Well, of course not. You know, anyone would get disappointed at that. But now if you're selling reproductions also next to the postcards that, I don't know, $200, $300, $500 reproductions of your original paintings, then that, you know, that's a better return, right? So you're more excited about, oh yeah, I sold a print and I got, I don't know, $200-300 on it, whatever, you know. That's a different thing, right? But we kind of, what I'm talking about is this whole size limitation thing, you know. It's very easy to say, oh, I want to be an artist, and all of a sudden, you know, get stuck on a size of artwork. I know a lot of artists are like, well, Vermeer was stuck on this little paintings. Dude, Vermeer was Vermeer. You're talking about a whole different time period, you know, a whole different thing. There was other stuff happening. It was a whole other market. Do not compare yourself with Vermeer. See what's happening right now. I know a lot of artists. I am definitely guilty myself. That's why I'm making this video. I got stuck into the whole, you know, plein air thing. These little paintings, you know. Oh, I'm gonna do this painting a day thing. I do a lot. You know, I'm a prolific painter. I do this little plein air paintings, and just got stuck on that, and not really give an option to my other collectors. To my collectors who are like, hey, well, yeah, I like the little paintings, but I can only have so many of them, or I can only give so many away to as gifts or whatever. What about some bigger paintings? Do you have some of that? You know, and of course those cost differently. Why not have that option as well? This is what I'm trying to talk to you guys about. The whole size limitation. You know, if you're a photographer, you see this all the time. You know, you go into a cafe somewhere downtown, and you see this little itsy bitsy little photographs, right? You're a photographer, freelancer or an artistic photographer. You see this little 5x5s, or you know, this little nice little. Not nice. Usually you see those little vintage frames that they picked up somewhere, I don't know, and they put, you know, they slap this little frame on that. And I think to myself, man, well, that's nice, right? A little frame painting, I don't know, a little frame photograph, watercolor, that's nice. But why not next to it have a medium-sized one? And maybe next to that one have some this big-ass painting, you know, I don't know, 5 feet by 5 feet, or, you know, whatever, 6 feet by 6 feet, or something like that, or a photograph that size, you know. Why not have it there also? Because maybe the guy or the girl who sees that photograph, that little photograph, says, oh, I would love that, but in this size. And you're thinking as an artist, well, if they wanted that size, they're going to ask, you know. They'll ask. No, they won't, man. I'm not trying to be sarcastic here. I'm talking about. I'm laughing because these things happen to me over and over, and I'm sharing them with you. So they make me look kind of like, I've done this stuff. That's why I'm talking about it. No, they won't. They won't ask you. If they do, maybe you're lucky, and if you're playing your cards by luck, you're in for a very rocky ride. No, they won't. People ask and talk about what they see. I heard this from I used to study the content of a photographer named Charles Lewis. I loved his content. Some of it was like, some of it was outdated. If you're listening, Charles Lewis, I'm sorry. I had to outgrow you. But when I was starting out, his content was really good for when you're a beginner. And when I was starting out, I heard this from him. He said, look, people buy what they see. People don't imagine like, oh, if same thing goes for the other artists. I was one of them. I've done all these mistakes. I used to have this really cool lofty studio downtown. I was this, hip artist, I thought of myself, right? And I had this huge 10 by 10 feet paintings that, I don't know, in my mind, that was like, some museum's gonna want it, Or I had this huge, 5 by 5, 5 by 7 or whatever, these huge canvases, because I was an interior remodeler. My brother had a business, and I knew how to make really nice, stretch canvases. I still know, of course, but that was my jam, right? This making these huge canvases. I remember I fashioned these big, huge easels, really, to make it look industrial and cool and all of that. But when people came in and said, "Oh, yeah, that's a nice painting. Yeah, but it costs $10,000. Do you have something maybe for $100? I don't know. Or do you have a print for, I don't know, $50?" They wouldn't ask me that. Of course, they didn't ask me that. They just looked and smiled and looked at the price of the $2,000-$3,000 paintings or $10,000 paintings and walked away. The very few people that ever came into the studio, because it was mostly for just having fun and sipping wine and acting cool. If you're doing that, stop it. Anyways, people won't ask. They won't ask because they don't want to offend you. Most people have this idea that I don't want to offend the artist, or because this artist has created this idea that they're going to be offended. Oh, you're going to compromise my work. Man, it's a business. Of course, you're in it for the art. We already know you love it, but don't get caught up in this whole size thing. If you're doing small works, do some large ones. If you're doing large works, don't get caught up there. Do some small ones, some smaller ones. This is I think that it's very difficult to understand in the beginning because people don't talk about this. If you're a musician and you want to play in arenas, you want to be Queen, Muse, U2, I don't know, Coldplay, I don't know, maybe you don't like any of those bands, who knows? But if you want to do this arena rock thing, that's awesome. You shoot for that, right? If you're an artist, yes, cool. Shoot for that, $100,000 painting. Maybe have it there also. Who knows? Maybe someone will buy it. I definitely have people bought, higher priced items. Had I not had them there, they would have never bought them. But also have the other priced items for people who can't afford that, or can't afford that yet, or don't want to pay for that, or don't want to pay for that yet. I don't know. Don't neglect the gig. If you're that musician that wants to play arenas, don't neglect the bar. Because maybe you're at the bar, right? Same thing, if you're at the bar, don't stop yourself there. If you're the bar musician and you see that there's an opportunity also to play a big gig, don't say, well, that's not for me, I'm not ready yet. Of course you are. You're ready, If you're already playing at the bar, people like your music, of course you're ready for the next, And even if you get punched in the face, by the market or by the crowd, it's all right. Get up again and do it again. It doesn't matter. Anyways, don't get caught up in any of this stuff. This is just little tips and advice I want to share with you guys. Size limitations. Stop it. Don't get limited by size. My name is Jose Trujillo. I'm a fine art artist. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time.